Good evening and welcome to a new edition of Real World News TV. I'm one of your hosts, Reggie Kearney. Regular host Sherry Ann Tampa is out under the weather, so tonight we have with us Tony, hard-working Breedlove. What's up, Tony? How you doing tonight?
He gave me a middle name. How
Oh,
you
how you
doing?
doing? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. So, as usual, there's always some controversy going on in this country. Stuff coming from the mouths of these elitist political figures. And so
Ugh.
the question we asked tonight, so blacks aren't Americans. That's a profound question we need to ask tonight. So blacks aren't Americans. And hey, that little guy from Kentucky, the one that has no lips, Mitch McConnell, has done it again. You know, he says that we are not Americans. Okay, that we vote like Americans. Okay, so we are not Americans. Then he tried to walk it back by saying, I was just trying to show that African Americans vote just as much as other Americans do. Okay, Mitch, we done heard it all. You're white,
Mhm.
racist, no. Well, okay, I ain't gonna go too far.
Yeah,
Oh
leave the
boy.
bad language to me.
Boy. So what you think, Tony? What you think? Are you American?
I'm more than American.
Mhm.
I'm more than American. More than these folks are. That's for
Yeah.
damn sure.
Hmm.
You know, uh, I just, when that comment came out, I was like, what the hell? I mean, and it's so blatant because that has been their thought and their consensus of people of color from the very beginning,
Yeah.
and to separate us out of being Americans, then what the hell are we?
Hmm.
If you're going to go to that length to uh, degrade a race, then tell us what we are
Yeah.
so we would know, so we can
Hmm.
get on with this shit,
Yeah.
you know? But to make that kind of statement, I mean, that goes where you're, I don't even think explaining it
Hmm.
or trying to figure out a way of, saying that you said something that was not meant to be. That's what he's saying
Hmm.
now because he's explaining away and apologizing for his comments, but it's done. The damage is done. You meant exactly what you said. And however you paint over it is not going away because we knew who he was. We know who a lot of them are anyway. So I mean that's my thought on it.
Well, unintentionally or intentionally, it shows what's in his heart. Okay, and that's how I see it. Okay, shows what's in his heart, shows what's in his mind. Okay, it came out, regardless if he wanted to come out or not. Okay, you know, he's a dummy. You know, but he's a smart dummy. So he knew exactly what he was saying. So uh, it, it comes down to this. They always trying to whitewash history, and they get it all wrong as far as CRT, because CRT is a graduate level course. These some whites are so ashamed of their past that they're trying to wash away history because of what their great grandparents and grandparents did to us as African
Mhm.
Americans. It just shows what they have thought about us since they brought us over here, like you were mentioning last week, in 1619. They've always treated us as non-Americans. Okay,
Mhm.
we fought hard for our right to vote, which has only been recently since 1964, the Civil Rights Act since 1965. We fought hard to get those rights. Okay, and they still don't consider us to be Americans. But you take the people from Afghanistan, you take the people from Mexico, not kind of down those people. They are considered Americans once they get here and assimilate into society, they look at them as being Americans. But they don't look at the people who worked hard, whose ancestors busted their butts to make this country what it is. It wouldn't be
Right.
no daggone U.S. Capitol if our ancestors hadn't worked to build it.
Right.
A black man laid out the city of D.C. We invented potato chips, cellular phone, everything. But we're
But
not
again,
American.
we're not American.
Yeah.
We're what would make us American? Because that comes to my mind when this comment was made. What are we?
Well, we're Americans if we go back and say, yes, master, man. Yeah, my master, yes, master. What do you want me to do now, master?
You know, that ain't gonna happen.
That's right, it's not.
We're in a different generation of people.
Yeah. No,
You know, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. The thing that teed them off was the fact that over the last couple of presidential election cycles, we have come out to vote. Okay? We came out.
All it takes?
We came out and voted and kept his little friend from getting back in office again. You know, see, my theory is, okay, and this is just Reggie's theory. They're trying to move the needle backwards, okay? They're trying to discourage us from voting. And they feel like if they can discourage us from voting, the crap that they're doing in these red states, they can continue on doing it and continue to stay in office. The problem is, and we have to take some responsibility for it, the great migration of our people from the south to the north took the votes that would keep them out of office. We brought them up north. Okay. Now I can't think of the author's name. I should have looked it up. It was an author of a recent book last year, and he stated that if we would start migrating back to the south, that we could stem the tide of the Republicans very easily. And we see it in states like Georgia, because Atlanta, a lot of people are still moving to Atlanta. So we can see how that state is, a little purplish right now.
But everybody is not going to make that kind of transition.
No, they're not.
So you can't say that, we could go to the South and put in place some of the things that are missing from what is owed to Blacks, to African Americans, or people of color. And it's going to make it all better, because you're still going to have a lot of Black folks in other parts of the country other than the South. So what do they do?
Well, the thing
Everybody can't move to the South.
Yeah, we're not. A lot of people don't want to, but like I said, we have, a lot of people moving to Atlanta and other places. Houston and Dallas, has a large Black population. That the state of Texas, look at the state of Texas, if I'm not mistaken, has made every seat non-competitive except for one seat in Congress. Okay, that shows that the gerrymandering that they've done. Okay, and what we have to figure out is, how do we gain control? Even in a state like Texas, where it's leaning very, close to being a Democratic state, with Republicans controlling the House of Delegates and the Senate, we got to figure out how to crack that code, okay? In all these southern states, and that's what we have to do. I mean, you look at Florida. They made a comment a couple of days ago that they wanted all New Yorkers to stay at home. Reason being, a lot of these older people that are moving to Florida are Democrats, okay? They're getting a large influx of Democrats into Florida, the retirees, and they know it, and they don't want to see it.
Yeah, because it's been old white Republicans in Florida, when we talk about retirement, for ages. Ages. That is how that state became red, and it's remained red because of that. But oh Lord, I get a little frustrated, because we're we're in an age now where every minute move can affect the next 50 to 100 years.
Yes.
And we're now at this stage where we're at this standstill, because if we don't do nothing, it's still going to affect the next 50 to 100 years as far as our politics are concerned. But you ask a good question. How do we change what is already in place and has been in place? How do we get, these red states blue? Of course, they're taking on the tone of purple, but how do we turn them blue? Because if we don't, like you said, it's going to affect, 2022, 2024. It's going to affect us beyond that. But people, I don't think, are taking it quite so serious. I don't think that people are taking it serious enough. Uh, we don't have the noise that was going on right before Biden's presidential election. We don't have the noise that was going on when we talk about Black Lives Matters, the killing of Black folks in the streets. All of a sudden, that's dissipated. We don't hear anything. We used to see Stacey Abrams in the news on the television every other day, if not every day. Now we don't. Somewhere along the line, there becomes this stagnant attitude, and that's where we are right now. But my fear is that we're going to stay in a stagnated area, and we're going to try and rush to get to where we need to be when it comes to the next election.
Yeah. I agree with you. We don't have, you're talking about, the last couple of elections. We don't have the vigor that we had coming out of the 60s. We don't have that anymore. I think there's a lot of African Americans that take the their right to vote for granted. Okay. I mean, you look at a state like North Carolina. North Carolina could easily be blue or purple with the people they have there now. But the key is to getting all blacks out to the polls, and that's a problem everywhere. Okay, you look at the state I'm in, Maryland. If it wasn't for Baltimore, the county I live in, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Howard County, we'll be running a red race in the state of Maryland. Okay, the majority of the state counties are red, but your larger metropolitan areas are Democratic. So that's what keeps us from being red. Then you look at Virginia, which is a purple state. The governor down there ran on the issue of education, and he punched. He threw critical race theory out there every time he got a chance. That's what he threw out there. And so what you had is the white suburban mother. That's what she jumped on. She jumped on that bandwagon because she don't want her kids to know that granddad and great granddaddy were racist people that brought harm to the black community.
Right.
That's what they run on. Fear.
Yeah, but we've got to figure out how we combat that. Because if we don't, all of this stuff, it matters. And I don't think, like I said just a minute ago, I don't think people take it seriously until it affects them right up front and close and personal. I don't think that they take it serious when you say that there are certain measures that have to be put in place in order to have something done. Things will be set on the back burner until it's critical for action. And by then, it's too late. It's too late. That's why I have a problem with Democrats. They wait for shit to get serious and then they want to go and run to the fire, but
Mm-hmm.
they have no fire hose.
Right.
You know, so I get frustrated with it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
beginning to be frustrated because I think I told you before we even came on air. I haven't read any news. I haven't looked at any news because I get frustrated. And I never thought that I would say that, but I am. I
Mm-hmm.
am frustrated to a point where sometimes I don't want to hear it
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of them have the solutions in hand. But what are they doing?
Well,
Nothing.
the thing is, we don't keep the fire burning. Like you said, at one time you would see a lot of Stacey Abrams on TV. Okay,
That part, Gary.
you don't see some of our people on TV like you used to see them. Okay, we have to keep pressing on. Even after that election is over with, we need to keep pressing on. You don't even hear nothing about Black Lives Matter anymore. You don't hear that. You don't hear it. So we will set the fire, burn the building down, let the
Mm,
fire go out, and keep
mm,
going.
mm. Right.
And we've got to stop doing that. We've got to keep on pushing, even after the election, and keep people galvanized. Okay, that's what we've got to do. And it's hard work. But it has to be done.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like our young millennials don't realize the impact they can have on this country if they're out there working hard.
Yeah. I mean,
They
that's
don't.
like you've got some who are trying to develop themselves knowledge worthy when it comes to politics. And those some are very few because those some are actually like high school students or
Mhm,
college students who are looking to get into politics by way of a law degree.
mhm,
Um, but the level of what we saw in the streets during the protests for Black Lives Matter and all of these other groups, um, I, those weren't our lawyers.
mhm,
The upcoming lawyers. Those weren't our upcoming politicians. These were everyday people who were sick and tired. And people forget once the crisis is over, they forget and they stop being sick and tired until the next crisis.
mhm,
And
mhm.
that's the part I think that gets me more. That's the part that I think irritates me and
Mhm.
infuriates me. So I think that's why I haven't been looking at the news
Yeah. And like
because I want to hear some pushback.
yeah, like Derek said, we are reactionary people.
Hmm.
You know, partying people. That's what we wait till. We wait till things get hot, then we running out there trying to put the fire out. It's too late then. Why we gotta wait till then? Let's do it now.
Right.
I mean, and I agree with you too, Tony. I'm frustrated myself. Because I want to leave here, leaving this world a better place for my grandchildren. You know,
Right.
so they can have children and they can have a peace of mind.
Right.
But you're right. When you look at the news, you look at two senators. They claim they're for voting rights, but at the same time, they don't want to mess with the filibuster. Now, for you so-called smart, intelligent politicians, show me in the Constitution where the word filibuster is, where there's an
It's
article
not.
or section. Okay, so
It's not.
you hold on to something that was only put in place during slavery to give the slave states a little bit of power to keep slavery going on. In the early part of the middle part of slavery, I think it was. Uh, Check me out if my years are wrong, the 1830s, the 1840s, something like that. You know, so you using something that wasn't never made a law, was
Right.
just an idea. And then you want to hold on to it. And then mark my word, if the Republicans get control of the House and Senate in the next election cycle, look at what they're gonna do. Well, you already seen what they can do. Obama, right
Yeah,
before the election, a year out from the election almost, they would
yeah.
not give him the opportunity to send up a name for the Supreme Court.
Hmm.
And told him anybody that's setting up, they weren't going to talk to or interview, and they didn't do it. He sent one of their own over there, and they would not even talk to the man. And then
Ridiculousness.
Orange Butterfly get somebody in 8 days before the election.
Yeah, crazy as hell.
Yeah, but then the Republicans tell us, y'all better not do nothing. Y'all do something, we're gonna get you back the next time we get control again. And that daggone Cinnamon and Manwich, they sit there and go right along with it.
Like I said, I'm kind of over it. It's sad because I've been so engrossed in, what's going on with our politics, for so long. But, and I'm sure that there are other people feeling like we're feeling.
Well,
Those who have always been so encroached with, what's going on in our government. You get to that point where if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, it's like Derek, like you mentioned with Derek's comment, we're reactionary. I'll become reactionary to be more engaged when I see something happen. And by then, of course, I'll be pissed off. But that's where we are. I don't think that people are doing their jobs lately.
We should be at a point. I should be at a point where I can just sit back and look at the news and see these young people out there doing that thing and just keep praising them and say, keep on trucking. Do your thing. I can't do that because they're not doing it.
Yep.
They think
it's going to have to be something that's going to have to happen before they do that. I mean, it's almost like, and again, referencing Derek's comment of being reactionary, it's almost as if they're just waiting for the next shoe to drop for someone to die. That's a little barbaric. That's a bit barbaric when they can take the level of their protest so much further in the direction that helps Black people. I mean, you're saying Black Lives Matter. Is it only because Black Lives Matter when someone dies? Or do Black Lives Matter beyond, the death or someone's demise in the streets? Black Lives Matter in areas too, but I don't see anything. Sorry, my doggy's barking.
You remember throw a dog biscuit down there? He'll probably be quiet then. Look, do you remember the riots back in the '60s? I'm not talking about the riots right after Martin Luther King, but later on that summer, the riots that took place because people were so frustrated by what was going on in America. Every city was having problems. I think we have to get that kind of vigor back. We got irritated, we got mad at the way the country was treating us. Okay, and so we felt like the only thing was that someone was to riot, burn, and loot. That's the kind of tenacity we have to bring back into this society. Granted that January the 6th was a freaking mess. Okay. That those were not a bunch of tourists that were going to visit the Capitol, but they came together to get the message heard. Even though the way they got it heard was wrong and the stuff they had planned to do was wrong, but they rose up to the occasion to do what they got to do, and they still around the country trying to create crap, and keep stuff going. That's what we've got to start doing as a people. We've got to start making our voices known. We got to start. And I'm not advocating to go out there and burn everything down, but we got to be at the meeting. We got to be at the party. We got to be with hell.
But that's when things were happening. And I'm not like you. I'm not telling people to go into their own communities and burn shit down. I'm not saying that. But if you notice, when we burn shit down is when we get the most traction.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate that we have to burn stuff down because now we are taking away from ourselves and our own communities. And then we are destroying the local economy, making it harder for ourselves. But if we notice, those were the times when I think more attention was paid on making some changes, in our city and state and our federal government systems. I like I said, I don't advocate people burning down the local grocery store or liquor store or whatever it is that's in your community that is, rotating dollars. I'm not saying that I'm advocating for that. I'm just saying that those drastic measures are what kept us on the map when we talk about fighting for the civil rights of people of color, Black people. That's what I'm talking about, because that's what it was doing. It was actually putting that place card there for people to take notice. Right now, it's not happening.
Yeah, and you make a valid point. And listeners, before I say what I'm gonna say, realize I'm trying to make some comparisons to show what we need to do here in America. The young lady in Connecticut, I believe she is, who boyfriend or date for the night found her dead the next morning. Okay, we have taken up that cause. I want to know what happened to. Okay, I want to know what happened to.
I do too.
There's an opportunity. There's a situation where all of a sudden we woke up and we want to know. Black America wants to know what happened. Okay, what this white guy did. Okay, now why can't we use that same wokeness to jump on the Biden administration, jump on our congressmen and senators that are not doing a damn thing for us right now, okay? And put it just point blank, they're not doing nothing for us now.
Okay? They're not.
So that's the point you're trying to make, and I see that point. We are up in arms. We whipped this family 100% to find out what happened to this young lady. Okay, take that same energy and call up Biden, call up Harris. Call up your congressman and senator and say you don't like this. Go to the Capitol if you can get in and walk the halls and knock on doors and make phone calls. I bet you I can't find 10 people now who are ever taking time out to email their senator or congressman or call their number to leave a message concerning an issue that they don't like and they want them to take care of.
I surely have. I know I have. I know they got to a point where they were probably blocking my calls.
So we gotta get back to the point of putting pressure on it and to say white politicians aren't stupid. Okay, they keep the eye on the pulse of the community and they see that we're not rising to the occasion.
Yeah. It's so apparent because the same tenacity and the same curiosity that we have going on and the same anger that we have on the mishandling of the case of this young woman who lost her life, and we don't know what's going on with this white guy. The same anger and the frustration that we have for that should have been there when McConnell said that Blacks are not Americans.
We should have showed them how much American we are.
Right, but see, but it's quiet. It's quiet. I don't know why people don't get outraged with these comments. And like you said, why aren't they contacting their local officials? You put them in office. You put them in office to represent your state and your city or your county, and they go to the White House to represent you, but they don't.
They don't. You look at Manwich, okay? out in West Virginia, the majority of his constituents want the right thing done. They want
Yes.
those. They want those bills. They want help,
Right.
but not
Right.
Manwich. Manwich is no.
No.
Manwich is not for it. And then the same thing with Cinnabon. Cinnabon out there in
Cinnabon.
Arizona, a purple state, she refuses to. She's trying to hold on to her seat, and that's the same thing that Manwich is trying to do. He's trying
That's
to hold
what
on
he's
to
doing now. Right. Right.
Instead of
Well, most of them are at this point.
Yeah. The thing is, so you make close to $200,000 a year. Is it worth selling your soul to the devil and not to get the right to do the right thing? So you lose the next race. I mean, gosh, you spend 6 years as a senator, so you lose the next race. But you can lose that race and know that you did everything you were supposed to do for your constituents. That you made a difference.
But that question would be relevant to someone who gave a shit.
Yeah.
Who cared? They don't care because they have their own agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as we elect them into office, we have given them the right to pose their own agenda. And that's what they do because we don't put enough pressure on them.
Yeah.
We don't do it. We should be putting the pressure on at home.
And the thing is, they showed after that vote last week, they showed those Republicans going around patting Cinnabon and Manwich on the back and hugging them, high-fiving them for what they did. These are supposed to be Democrats. And they're acting like Republicans. Yep. I mean, the way I feel now, change parties. Go ahead and take control of the Senate. At least you're out of my way, okay?
Exactly. I feel the same way.
Let me tell you something. Biden don't know how to play the game. Because if I was the president, I would hurt them states where they need to be hurted, okay? Talking about bringing some bacon home. Just bring some bacon home. Them guys be bringing party meat home, okay? Because I would get into that mess so hard. I would say, look, West Virginia, Arizona, you need some new roads? Okay, you go out there and get some rocks or something, put some gravel down. That's your new roads, okay? He has the power to squeeze these guys, okay?
Yeah. I don't understand him because prior to coming into office, it was I'm going to do. I'm going to hold these people responsible. I'm going to hold them to the fire. I'm going to make the changes that need to be made. I'm going to run over them like a freight train. I'm going to do all of these things because the American people said I need to do this. I am backing the American people 100%. I see nothing. It might just be me.
No, it's not just you.
Nothing.
It's not just you. Now, one of the other problems we have with American politics is that the Democrats know if they can't get a good majority of the white voters to push the agenda for the Democratic Party, we are always going to be there for them. Okay?
We're going to be there. Exactly.
So what we have to do, we have to figure out a way to flip the table for both parties, okay? We definitely need a third party, okay? And I'm talking about a third party that might have a mixture of Democrats and Republicans, a party that can really drive the agenda and have it on both parties. And that's what we need. When you look at politics as a whole, we get stuck with a party, and that's our party for life, okay? And that's what's happening with the Democrats. The Democrats come knocking on our door every year for votes, okay? For every election for votes. But they never bring nothing back to the table for us. They never bring us no dessert.
No.
Okay, I'm not even talking about trying to get a T-bone because they ain't ready for that yet.
No,
but they won't even bring us that dessert, But then they'll complain. It's like, and when Charlemagne the God interviewed Biden, and Biden told him, if you vote for Trump, then you're not black enough. That's a condescending statement to me. I didn't care for that statement.
But the thing is that I think I'm getting sick of folks peddling for the black vote. when
Mm-hmm.
there is nothing that you are doing for Black folks. I think Kanye said it best. Who was that? He said Trump hates Black people. Uh, I think that in a lot of ways, a lot of these, whether they're Democrats or Republicans sitting in those seats, they don't give a shit about us until it's time to vote.
Yeah.
Um, that's where I have my problem. And in talking about enacting a third party, I mean, yeah, we could do that, but will we have a strong enough candidate for that said party? Bernie Sanders was pretty strong as an independent, will we get that chance again to get Bernie in there? But see, Bernie has put himself into some hot water, and he has basically separated himself from both sides, even the Democrats. He seems to flop on certain things that he said during even Biden's campaign, how he was going to stand behind Biden in certain areas when it came to health care and all of these other different issues that he stood with. But now he's fighting him. So you got to me, it's almost as if, look, choose a side, Bernie. And I'm just using him as an example. Choose a side, stick with it, and continue to talk about and do the things that you said that you were going to do for the party, because we know how strong he is when it comes to the platform of healthcare and pharmaceuticals. He's in there. He says the right thing. He's pushing the right things. But when the lights go off and the cameras are no longer rolling and all of the fireworks have hit the ground and they have stopped, all the grandeur is gone, Bernie goes back into his retreat, and now he's going to talk shit about Biden. He's going to talk shit about Kamala Harris. He's going to talk shit about the Republican Party. Then who the hell are you working with? So that's what I'm afraid of when it comes to a third party, especially an independent party that has someone representing it and trying to represent us as a people. That's where I have my problem. Take a stance and stand there.
But I think as long as we are only a two-party system, that this same crap won't go on forever.
This is true.
That blacks aren't going to get nothing out of they're not going to get nothing out of it.
So let me ask you a question. So say, for instance, tomorrow there was a third party. What kind of candidate do we get, or what kind of candidate is being groomed for that party?
A person who's going to work for the people, and that's what you need. You don't need a person that goes up there and then goes up on it based on your agenda, but gets there and does their own thing. That's the whole problem we have with politicians now. They're supposed to be working for people, like you said, but they get there and they change their mind. Oh no, this is what the country needs. Hey, you don't know what the country needs. You're just one person.
Exactly. Like you haven't asked anybody.
Yeah. It's like Reverend Barber and his poor people's campaign. They've gone to West Virginia. They've taken polls in West Virginia, and the polls say the same thing. We want what you want. But no, the man, he doesn't want that.
First of all, who are these people in these polls? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Who are these people in these polls?
You got to realize these states have a lot of liberal people who don't vote. Okay, we're not getting everybody to vote. Yeah, it was an anomaly that 80 million people came out and voted versus 70-some million people in the vote. Okay, that's the largest turnout ever.
Yeah.
But you still got a lot of people who are registered that don't participate. Now you can catch them on these polls and stuff and kind of get information from them on polls, but that's where it stops. That's where it stops. They don't go to the poll.
Yeah.
It's a lot of blacks. They'll tell you all day long what they don't want and what they want to see, but at election time, they won't go to the polls.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
I don't know.
frustration level, I mean, how you gonna get Pookie and the boys on the corner to go to the polls when they don't see their lives improving?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of just them not seeing their lives and improving. I don't think Pookie and Ray Ray on the corner, I don't think you have to convince them of anything other than, what can you do for me?
Mm-hmm.
They're so it's not just their lives. I mean, you got to look at what's around them that is not changing, that gives them hope that there could be change for them personally. Ray Ray and Pookie are standing around. They don't have a choice to feed their family but to sell drugs, or they don't have a choice but to feed their family to do any other kind of illegal activity. If they don't have anything in their community that they can tangibly see, that is of change through the political nature of what we are run by in this country, then how can you expect them to go to the poll? Because they don't see the changes. They might have even said, okay, Biden's going to win. I'm all for Biden and Kamala, and, I'm going to go and vote. They get down there to the polls and they see Biden and Kamala in office, and they still see their community with no change, because Biden is running around the country talking about infrastructure when he should be talking about how are we going to feed these people? How are we putting people back to work? We're in the middle of a freaking pandemic. Why are there no groceries on the counters in the grocery stores? Why are there a shortage in trucking? Why are the farmers having such an issue with getting their crops out? He's not attacking the issues that are going to make a difference within the community. So Ray Ray and Pookie, they're going to say, well, hell, I tried it. I'm done. Because he's made promises just like the guy before him.
Mm-hmm.
So that is not going to change unless, like you said, a third party, we figure out who is this person that can run under a third party that is actually going to get in there and actually give a shit about the people. We can say he will, but will he?
Yeah. And then you look at different organizations. I wonder how many people in the Nation of Islam really go out and vote. Because
that's a good question.
Because Farrakhan's always painting the politician as a white devil. Okay.
Exactly.
So how there's a block of votes that don't even count, because he probably discourages them about going out to vote, because his thing is, why are you going to support the white man when he won't do nothing for you?
I never thought of that.
Yeah, so you have different organizations out there, a problem on both sides of the aisle, that don't vote because of simple ideology.
I just did not think of that. Yeah, that's something to look at.
Yeah, because you never hear, if you read this, I like reading this paper because he has some good stuff. He has some good stuff in the paper. Okay, I like reading it. But you never see them endorsing or supporting any candidate. Okay.
You don't.
You never hear them talking about go out and vote.
No. That's a good question. That's something for me to look into.
Yeah.
I like digging deep.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. That's you even take Cameron's choice of religions. How many of those guys, really exercise that vote? They fuss, but are they going out and voting?
I know that Cameron did. I know that he did, and I know that his girl did.
Yeah, but how many others? Yeah, how many of his buddies actually do? And but they'll sit back and say, it's not worth it. And a lot of people, I understand the frustration when you look around the country and you wake up every morning, it's the same old.
That's what I was just saying about Pookie and John or whoever I was referencing.
But the thing is, the black elitist class of people that are doing very well in this country, able to drive Bentleys and Bugattis and things of that nature, how much influence are they putting happen on this process. Now you have a few of the sports guys, entertainment guys that really get out there and work hard at pushing the vote, but they don't understand that as a body they can make a big difference. The
Okay,
entertainers
yeah.
and the sports guys, because we support them, so they got a captive audience already. Don't let one or two of your guys do the work. Everybody jump on the same bandwagon and do this thing.
But it's not going to be, excuse me. I don't, I mean, I hear you, but I don't have a whole lot of confidence in those folks that are making that kind of money, either, playing sports or in movies and doing TV. And I don't have a whole lot of confidence in them folks because they've made their money. They live in this ivory tower. They could give less than a damn about the folks underneath them now,
Well, they
unless
don't.
they are going back to their communities and doing it
Yeah.
without us knowing about it. But
They
they
don't.
don't give a crap about the political end of it. They
But
just don't.
They don't because they don't want to lose what they have. Because you got to realize
Exactly.
entertainment, and with the entertainment industry, including sports, is controlled by
Sports
white men. So if you
and
get out of line,
sponsorship.
yeah,
Sponsorship.
if you get out of line, the first thing they're gonna do is come to you and say, if you want our money, you need to back off. Have you heard
Exactly.
Have you heard Beyonce come out and say anything? No. Why? Because, like you said, sponsorship. She knows for the next concert tour, she's going to need this money to run this thing. If she comes out acting like she half crazy and trying to get the black vote and get people to vote, those people who support her in the past are not going to support her.
I think that when they get to a certain status, they actually lose their blackness, if I can say it that way. I think they lose their blackness. I think that now, because they are peddling to not just African Americans who had supported them in the start of their journey, and now they've gained such a huge audience that includes, white Americans, Hispanics, Asians, Islanders. It includes they don't want to speak on their blackness. They don't want to speak on things that that they should be supporting, because how in the hell did you get there? You got there on the backs of black ancestors. So they don't want to lose those dollars, like you said. They lose out on sponsorships. Beyonce go to the next city and try and get a concert, holding 100,000 people in a stadium, and this stadium doesn't like what she says. And the owners of the stadium and the promoters, they say, no, you know what? She's just way too black. She's now supporting her blackness. Ain't gonna happen. They've become so entrained with this dollar that they're making that they can't see past that. They raise their little children to think the same way. No, they don't have the guts.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
The most they ever did, the most involvement they ever did was some of these black entertainers and sports guys was when Obama was in office.
Right.
They all wanted photo opportunities with him, And they didn't even go out and ask people to vote. They were just so glad a black man was in office. They just wanted to get next to him.
But see, then you said it, and that's the whole idea, because they couldn't give a care about what Obama was trying to support as far as supporting American people or black American people. They just thought, oh, here is a great photo op, just the same as Trump did in front of a church with a Bible. It's not much difference. It's not much difference. What was in it for them when Obama was running and when he became president of these United States was that it was a photo opportunity. It was an opportunity to spill out of your mouth, yes, I met with Obama. Yes, we talked. Yes, we had lunch and dinner. Because whoever knew there was going to be a black president? And here we are. So they don't care.
Yeah, they don't.
They lose their money if they care.
Yeah. So when we look at the thing, yes, blacks are Americans. We go through the same. We're going through all this crap that Everybody else is going through, but we're in a worse position than most Americans are because we can't reap any kind of benefits from our uh, uh, past endeavors and work that our ancestors did for us, did for this
Mm-hmm.
country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we've got to get that fire back that we had during the civil rights movement, and I always say that. We got to be out there 24/7 fighting. And I think if they start seeing us out there 24/7 fighting, then they're going to react to us differently.
Yeah, and I think that they will react differently because even though we want the same fire and the same vigor that was there during the civil rights era and movement, the best thing that we have today is the modes of technology, and they don't want to see us get a hold of that to further this cause. The cause of making sure that yes, we are Black and we are Americans. They don't want to see us do that, and at every measure they will try and block that effort. But I would love to see the same thing that you're saying, those folks having that you know that zest. It's not there. It's definitely not there.
Yeah, it's sad. You
I
know.
wish people could get as upset as I do.
Oh Lord, we probably would have put you in the White House if they could. You
I
know.
wish they would, because like I said, I'm always calling my officials. I write a letter and an email in a minute. They
Mhm.
probably have got a bag full, and they said, "No, we're just gonna go ahead and burn those because we know who they're
Look,
coming from."
they probably got men in black suits watching you all the
I would hope so.
time.
I would hope so, because then that would might gain me some access to this what we call uh, this news,
Hmm.
mainstream. Then I can get on there and just say whatever, and they can't stop me then,
That's right.
you know. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'm open there. Men in Black, read my letters.
Well, it's shows like ours that are gonna have some little impact, gonna have some type of impact on the
Yeah.
community, and let me see, don't get me started with George Floyd's funeral with photo ops. Has any of them contacted his family since? I think no, no,
That's what we're
no,
saying.
no. Mm-mm.
No.
They don't forget, poor Reverend L, love him to death. He probably done lost the phone number.
Yeah, everything is a photo op.
Yeah.
Uh, Nothing is taken seriously anymore. It's all about, what is this going to do for my boost? How is this going to boost my
Hmm.
career? And now you've got the Twitter wars, or what? No, is it? No. What is it called? What is this thing called?
Twitter,
TikTok.
TikTok.
People are doing now things to raise their TikTok numbers. It's not about the
Hmm.
cause; it's about the numbers. You
Yeah.
know, so that's what we're living with now, unfortunately. But hopefully, we can get back to some semblance of decency when it comes to uh, politics. Doing the right thing. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We better not lose no sleep over it. 'Cause We
I'm
go to
not.
we go to bed thinking it's gonna happen. We're gonna wake up every morning to the same thing every day.
And when it's different, and I wake up to something different, then I'll say, "Hey, look at there."
Hmm.
It was all worth it. You
Yeah.
know. Yeah. So
So if McConnell doesn't know and doesn't realize by now that blacks are Americans, then he's got an issue. He's got a problem.
hmm hmm don't you just wish we could get him on the show?
He wouldn't come in here because I just spend the whole hour cussing him out. He'll probably get off the show after about a minute. You know.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's been a good show. Thank you, sir,
Yeah.
for having me.
But
Uh,
the one person I would love to interview is old Candace Owens. I'd love to get her on here and just tear into her ideology
Candace would not have a chance.
I know, but we can't pay her. We can't pay her the $30,000, and that's what even them folks need to realize that Candace is swindling them and getting all that money.
I wouldn't pay that bitch $3.
Well, she's getting $30,000 a hit.
Well, that's for that crazy side that wants to hear it.
Yeah,
but I
you
think we
she all that. I look at it being an ignorant. You know, that's why I see her as. You know.
Yeah, we would eat her alive. So maybe it wouldn't be worth it having her on.
We'll make her cry. We'll send her away from here crying. She'd be black. You know, she'd be back to the black. She'd be at the cookout the next day.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it would be worth it for her to do that. That's unfair. That's like putting my little dog up against a lion.
This dog probably tell line up. Look at his owner.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but no, we couldn't do that. We couldn't do that to her. It would be so unfair. Hey,
Mom. What's up, Mom?
Hi, Mommy. How are you? Thank you.
Oh, boy. I tell you.
All right. So it is time to get out of here.
Yeah. Call it a night.
Well, I just want to thank you. Yes, I know. It'll be here before you know it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight to Real World News TV. I was sitting in for Cherry on Tapping tonight. She is out. Please pray for her health, and her recovery. She's going through surgery, so pray for her recovery and her return. For those who have listened in tonight, please make sure that you follow us on Facebook under Real World News TV. This show is always on every Tuesday night, hosted by Reggie Kearney and Miss Cherry on Tapping, and only me if I'm sitting in for somebody. Also, what was I going to? Tomorrow night, we've got a great new show lined up for you. This show will be coming on every last Wednesday of each month, and we are going to be premiering the show tomorrow night. It is cutting it close with CC. So if you've followed our show on Hot Topics Talk Radio, you know that CC has been like this fixture to our show as well as on Troop Brothers. So we have decided to put her on for a 30-minute spot. She will premiere tomorrow night. The show starts at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 9 Central, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. That is Cutting It Close with CC. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night and coming on in and wishing her some luck. So, Reggie, you have a last word?
We got a lot of work to do. Let's get to work.
Yeah. All right. So, with that being said, let me start to take manners down. You know, I'm last at everything, Reggie. I'm sorry. We could have been out of here. We could have been. All right. So, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Okay. You still here, Tony?
I know. I'm trying to still take all of this stuff down. So don't give me any flack. I'm trying. All right, we're out.